Good evening, fellow Singaporean, fellow voters of West Coast GRC, dear friends. Good evening. 各位新加坡同胞、新加坡人民、西海岸竞选的人民，还有各位朋友，晚安。Thank you for taking your precious time in joining us in this rally. 谢谢大家抽出宝贵的时间来听我们的演讲，谢谢。首先，我要讲的是，我这几天也在Clementi 在走，那么就有几位朋友住在 Clementi 的有写几张 email 给我们。I've been going around in the Clementi constituency, and I met up with several residents, and some of them have wrote an email to me. I would like to read up two emails. This one is from a lady. I do not want to disclose her name. The email read like this: Dear Mr. Frankie Low, and members of the Reform Party, thank you for visiting our community today. This will be my first time casting my vote, and I hope to be able to select a party which is truly concerned for the people and our needs. Let me introduce myself and the issues I'm facing today. I'm a single woman to be. To my misfortune, I was in a relation with the foreigners for the past 5 years. She gone down and decided that my grievances and issues is this. I'm a bachelor degree holder, and the father of my child is a lawyer. I would like my child to be able to have a good education too, and become an individual who can contribute to society in the future. As a Singaporean, as a single parent, I would like my child to enjoy the benefit as other Singaporean children, i.e., baby bonus, EduSave, etc. And she go on to say, unfortunately, it's a reality that with my high hope, with the high cost of living here, people have become more self-centered and selfish. While doing some research on the issue in Singapore, I've come upon charity tagline between women online. And the last paragraph, she wrote, the reaction and response from the MP that I met was very disappointing. Not because he did not help, but simply because it reflected how unrealistic people of the power in Singapore is with regard to the real needs of our people. I would like to vote for a government who is compassionate to the lay people's needs and will fight for our cause. I would like to hear from your party about your opinion with this issue and how you could help us if you vote for this. I look forward to your response in this matter. Thank you. Now I will officially reply to this lady, and it will be posted on my Facebook in the next 1 or 2 days. Now there's another email from another gentleman here who wants to be anonymous. It writes here, please raise these issues at the rally. There are 10 of them, and point number 8 is, why do we need 6.5 million people? You will end up worse in Hong Kong. If you have been to Hong Kong, you will know what it's like living there. Will there be enough jobs for 6.5 million people? Will there be enough housing, private and HDB, roads, cars, schools, hospital, MRT, university, etc.? The ministers send their children overseas for higher education and do not feel it. They don't have to look for jobs, housing, take MRT, treated as VIP in hospital. So they do not know what the average people is facing. We have been reminded time and time again the importance of an open door immigration policy, how it can affect Singapore's survival. Our government, your government, has given the policy full support by going to the extent of using $10 million from our national kitty on an integration fund for the recruitment of foreign workers. There is nothing wrong with that fundamentally. Singapore's birth rate has been on the decline. We are a small nation with limited resources, and human resources are our greatest, if not only assets. Hence the need to keep our population growing and our economy competitive. However, such immigration policy has been implemented without the consideration of possible long-term negative effects on the Singapore population. This policy has been implemented thoughtlessly under our government's blind ambition to increase our population to 6.5 million while neglecting other important intangible outcomes. I would like to point out 4 major flaws of our government immigration policy. Number 1, too many, too soon. In the 80s and the 90s, Singapore accepted many immigrants from Malaysia, Indonesia, Hong Kong, and Taiwan without causing any discomfort to our local population. The immigrants came in smaller groups with similarity in culture, language, and belief, and they blended into a society with much comfort and with ease. However, since 2003, the pace of immigration picked up, and suddenly the flight gates are open to accept foreign workers from all over the world, especially China and India, where the majority of the immigrants come from. In 1990, 4 out of 30 are foreign workers. Today, the figures have increased to 12 out of 30, all this in the span of less than 8 years, when we should be increasing our population in a measured and calibrated manner. Number 2, inadequate infrastructure. The influx of foreign workers did not result in more public amenities. Neither was the nation's infrastructure upgraded to accommodate to this influx. Only slightly more than 11,000 new flats were built from 2006 to 2008, and there were over 110,000 permanent residents and new citizens in 2008 alone. The yearly demand exceeds supply 20 times, and it is this uncontrolled demand that leads to the skyrocketing prices of HDB flats. It is this appalling demand that results in Singaporeans having to compete for affordable resale flats, which, by the way, have become very costly too. It is this frightening demand that leads to overcrowded buses, train, bus stop, and MRT platform every day. Our government was unprepared, and this is unacceptable. Number 3, way too easy getting into Singapore. In many developed countries like Australia, Canada, and UK, immigrants have to pass an English proficiency test to be able to work and live there. To be a permanent resident in Australia, you have to live there for 3 or 5 years before you become eligible. My brother is a permanent resident in Perth, so I know what I'm talking about. It is a different story in Singapore. There seems to be no major restriction in becoming a permanent resident here. There is no need for immigrants to familiarize themselves with the country. A Chinese national, Chang Yan, became a Singapore permanent resident within 2 months of his application. He is a teacher from a private institution in Singapore. That aside, construction workers, cleaners, masseuses, and prostitutes are also eligible to apply for Singapore PR status. Which, by the way, is not a very large and steep stepping stone towards citizenship in Singapore. According to the Ministry of Home Affairs, every 2 out of 3 PR applicants are successful. That is an outrageous figure. The government of Australia and England adopted a point-based immigration system to take in only the talented. This could be our solution. We should be targeting foreign workers with exceptional talent who can add values to Singapore. We should be getting real talent and not economic migrant. We should put a stop to this mindless immigration policy. Point number 4, native Singaporean neglected. When our government embarked on its ambitious plan to inflate Singapore population, it did not embark on a comprehensive plan to include native Singaporean. It gave citizenship to large number of unsuitable migrants, but left us the difficult task to mingle with them. While it's obvious we are of the same color on the inside, $10 million were wasted on organizing tea parties, community events, and free language courses to help new immigrants blend into our society. Our forefather, your forefather, did not have the luxury of attending parties and courses. They spilled blood, fought war, battled differences, and endured disasters before they became Singapore citizens. Today, Singaporeans are not getting a fair deal as citizens from our government and are very much against its immigration policy. We are forced to compete with foreign workers on unequal terms. First, a Singaporean male is already at a disadvantage, having to spend at least 28 days a year away from work due to the national service obligation. Next, Singaporeans are unable to compete with foreign workers in terms of manpower costs because the migrants do not have a family here and they can easily support them back home with their wages earned in Singapore. We are now seeing an increasing number of semi-skilled foreign workers on S-passes. And these particular groups of foreign workers that is competing with Singaporeans and depressing our wages in the process. To make it worse, social welfare benefits is non-existent, and Singaporeans had to depend on their CPF, Central Provident Fund, and MediSave for retirement and medical expenses. Our CPF system has proven to be grossly inadequate to support Singaporeans through their twilight years. Ironically, many, if not all, had to continue working to retire. I last spoke to a 70-year-old man cleaning the tables at the Newton Hawker Centre. I asked him, "Uncle, what is your salary?" He told me $700 per month minus CPF, $500. I asked him, "Uncle, where do you stay?" He said, "I stay in Jurong and I have to leave my house 7:30 a.m. in the morning." So, the olds have to work to support themselves. I believe the government is not giving adequate assistance to the elderly. Had our government anticipated this flaws before accepting so many foreign workers, Singaporeans would not have been so angry. You would not have been so angry. You would not have been so depressed. Today, we have a weak one-party system in Parliament without strong checks and balance to keep it accountable for its action and decision. There are so many flaws in every bill it has introduced. The immigration policy is one of them. The Singapore population has grown uncontrollably in the past 5 years through mindless and hasty labor import. This has resulted in higher cost of living, uneconomical housing, a broken public transport system, and many unhappy Singaporeans. Today, a 3-room flat costs between $250,000 to $350,000. Some 5-room flats in Singapore cost more than $600,000. I think this is unacceptable. It is far too expensive to own a HDB flat in Singapore. And so, my fellow Singaporeans, we do not have any more time to wait. We do not have any more 5 years. The time is now. We will work harder than a one-party parliament. We will not leave you angry and depressed. We will not leave you with more expensive bill to pay. We will not leave you stranded in crowded bus stop and MRT platform for hours. We will not leave you behind. Vote for the Reform Party.